the international community that the Nigerian Army will work optimally in conjunction with other security agencies to provide a secured environment for peace and unity. Our role in support of democracy is the focus of the special lecture for this conference. The lecture will be delivered later today and is titled Nigerian Army Management of Security Challenges in Support of Democracy in Nigeria, Issues and Prospects. The lecture is to be delivered by one of us, a retired officer par excellence, a former military advisor in the United Nations Department of Peacekeeping Operations, and a seasoned military professional in person of Lieutenant General Chikadibia Isaac Obiako, retired. I want to implore all our distinguished invited guests to please attend this lecture. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to inform you that over the 4 quarters of the year 2018, the Nigerian Army remains steadfast in the discharge of its constitutional responsibilities, as well as providing aid to civil authority. The nation's territorial integrity, particularly along our land borders, has not been breached as we continually maintain a posture to defend Nigeria's territorial rights and interests. Security relations with our neighbors, Benin, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger Republic, has remained relatively calm, except for increased trafficking of small arms and light weapons across the borders, among other cross-border criminalities. Internally, there has been recurring violence in some sections of the country, which constitute security threats to Nigeria's democracy and indeed existence. The causes for various crises in the country are often ideological, economic, political, religious, as well as ethnic, among many other reasons. These socio-political and socio-economic issues have direct bearing on the security climate of the country. I am pleased to report that internal security in Nigeria has improved drastically from where we were in the year 2015, when I took over command of the Nigerian Army. However, we recognize that there are potent threats that require us to continually review our operations. Hence, this conference will deliberate on ways through which the Nigerian Army can continue to enhance national security. The fight against the Boko Haram terrorists in the Northeast under Operation Lafia Dole has continued unabatedly, and the Nigerian Army, in conjunction with other services and security agencies, has dominated the area and continues to carry out sustained operations against the Boko Haram terrorists. The Nigerian Army is also collaborating with the Chadian military and the Cameroonian Defense Forces in the Northeast. We are currently conducting combined operations alongside the Cameroon Defense Forces, codenamed Operation Pt.1, in order to maintain permanent presence in the Sambisa Forest and adjoining areas along the common borders with Cameroon. Troops of the Nigerian Army remain part of the multinational Joint Task Force, and we are a major contributor to the success of Operation Amni Fakat in the Lake Chad Basin. Troops of the Nigerian Army deployed on other ongoing operations such as Operation Safe Haven, Delta Safe, Sharandaji, Awate, and Operation Wild Stroke have continued to perform their tasks professionally. Over the second and third quarters of the year, we also identified the need to support federal government's efforts at encouraging internally displaced persons to return to their ancestral homes. To this end, we conducted Operation Last Hold, which was designed to further degrade the Boko Haram terrorists, facilitate the relocation of internally displaced persons to their communities, and to promote civil-military relations. The operation culminated in the Nigerian Army Day celebration 2018, during which we were privileged to have Mr. President in attendance in Monguno. By the end of Operation Last Hold, over 5,000 internally displaced persons returned back to their communities in northern Borno. As the nation moves towards the 2019 general elections, the Nigerian Army is conducting Operation Safe Conduct to support other security agencies during the period of elections in the country. The Nigerian Army activated the operation on 14 July 2018 during the elections in Ekiti and Osun states, and it was a huge success. We intend to replicate the successes achieved during the 2019 general elections because we believe that a secure electoral process will play a critical role in safeguarding our democracy in the future. As the Nigerian Army plays its role to safeguard democracy, all Nigerian Army personnel are enjoined to ensure that necessary steps are taken in all circumstances to prevent any act that is inimical to the unity and stability of our country. Thus, as political activities unfold towards the 2019 general elections, general officers commanding and field commanders at all levels are enjoined to continue to remind officers and soldiers under their command to remain non-partisan and be guided by the stipulated code of conduct in the discharge of their duties. In 2018, the Nigerian Army witnessed a lot of reorganization and redeployment in a bid to improve our overall operational responsiveness and professionalism. Just 2 weeks ago, I approved the redeployment of some field and operational commanders in order to inject new ideas in the command and control structure in various Nigerian Army operations across the country. We are also reorganizing to align with some of our current realities. It is my belief that the Nigerian Army must start to plan and strategize on how to end the operations in the Northeast. To this end, I have directed for a change from a wholly defensive posture to one where we defend in numbers and conduct offensive operations in smaller packets to simultaneously in different fronts. I must also add that no army can ever have enough equipment to conduct its operations. Hence, it is incumbent on all commanders and senior leaders of the Nigerian Army to recognize that we are involved in asymmetric warfare, which calls for dynamism and flexibility if we are to succeed with minimal casualties. Therefore, commanders are to ensure that they show leadership at all times and continuously adapt with changing situations in order to surmount adversity in the conduct of operations. In the area of training, we have expanded our in-theater training for troops in the front lines to afford them the required capabilities to operate and conduct effective operations. Special attention was also given to providing local and foreign training opportunities for all cadre of officers and soldiers. In the year 2018 alone, a total of 156 personnel have attended foreign courses, while 2,390 have attended local courses and training programs, ranging from master's degree programs to workshops and conferences. The provision of adequate health care to Nigerian Army personnel and their families has continued to remain one of my priorities. From January this year to date, 36 officers 144 soldiers, and